And then we have our next question which says the following program is submitted, and we have an ODS output statement followed by a procfreak statement with two table statement in it. On the procfreak we have chi-square test being requested, and then we have the ODS output close statement. And then it asks us to how many data sets are created and how many observations are there in the data set. So here we are requesting two outputs actually, and then we are making use of the option match all on ODS output statement. So the question is testing our understanding on the processing when match all option is used. So let us take a look at the documentation on what match all option does on ODS output statement. So if you see, it says match all creates a new data set for each output object. So here in this case, so we have two outputs objects being requested with two different table statements. So it creates one for the first table statement and the second data set for the second output data set. And then we have some additional notes here in the documentation. It says if you are creating multiple data sets with match all, then ODS output statement appends the number to the name of the data set. So we have mentioned that we are creating a data set named p values, and if we use match all and if we are requesting multiple output objects, it is saying that it will add a number to the data set name. And it says, for example, if you specify test as the data set and you create three data sets. So here in this instance, we are creating two, but it is giving as an example wherein we are requesting three data sets. Then the ODS name for the first data set is test, which is the same as the one we specified on the out is equal to option. And uh, it says the additional data sets are named as test1 and test2. The first one has the same name which we give, and each additional data set would get incremented by 1 as a suffix to the name which we give here. So if we see here, so we are requesting two output objects and we have given the name of the output dataset as p values. So for the first output object, the dataset name would be p values, and for the second output object, the dataset name would be p values 1. And on these output dataset which is created, so we are filtering for a row which is basically having a value of chi-square in a statistic variable. So let us take a look at the options provided for us with the background in mind and then see what will happen. So it says the first option says one dataset named p values with one observation. So as we have used match all and as we have two output objects requested using two different table statements, so we will have two datasets created. So this option is ruled out because it is only saying that one dataset is created. And on the second option also it says one dataset is created. This again is wrong because we will have two datasets created, one for each because of match all. And then the third option says two datasets named p values and p values 1 with one observation each. So before we delve into this each with one observation, we will see if the dataset names are as expected. If you see here, the two datasets named p values and p values 1. So we have seen in the documentation that the first dataset that gets created will be the same as the one which we requested, which is p values, and the subsequent datasets that get generated for each additional output object is gets incremented by 1. So for the second one it will be p values 1. So this looks correct as per the naming convention of the output datasets, irrespective of the number of observations that get created. And the last option, it says the output datasets will be named as p values 1 and p values 2. So this option is ruled out because the first object will have the dataset named as p values and only the second instance would have a value of 1. So the third option is right because only this option has the dataset names which go along with the documentation which we have seen for match all. So fourth option is ruled out for the naming convention of datasets itself, irrespective of whether you know how many number of records would be present with a value of chi-square in statistic or not. So the third option, the final option is ruled out because of the names itself. We are not even going into the detail of the number of observation in these datasets. First and second options are ruled out based on the number of datasets. Last option is ruled out based on the naming convention of the dataset. And finally, we are left with the third option, which seems to be the correct answer. Let us see if this is actually the correct answer. It says your response was two datasets named p-values and p-values with one observation. And the correct response is also two datasets named p-values and p-values 1 with each observation.